So in this video I am going to interview Sam Hardy-Linna, who is the Senior Engineering Manager at Smart Ag.
Alright, so I'm Sam Hardy-Linna. I'm originally from England. I've lived in Finland though for 13 years, so quite a while. Used to be a tractor driver. I drove tractors, started in England on an organic carrot farm in England and moved to Finland because of a lady. That's the usual reason. And I've lived here now for 13 years, like I said, and I drove tractors again for I think 6 years after I moved here, 6 or 7 years after I moved here, doing like 2,000 hours a year. So use the maths, it's quite a lot, probably as much as some of those guys. And I then ended up working for Valtra marketing because I lived near the factory and they knew me from other places, and they realised I spoke English and I can drive tractors, so they said, hey, come and work for us. And I worked for them for a while. I spent a lot of time complaining that engineering don't know how to do things and everything's rubbish, and then it turns out they gave me an engineering team to lead. I think it was revenge from engineers. So they said, we're starting this brand new engineering team. Would you like to lead it? And I kind of said no, but tell me more. And I ended up now leading it, which was a good decision.
Can you tell a little bit deeper, what is Smart Ag?
So Smart Ag is actually an AGCO thing. So AGCO owns Valtra and it's the corporation above them. So we're sort of like above Valtra in a way. We don't think ourselves better. We're not, maybe a little bit. But so we're sort of like a neutral sort of team. And what we try and do is sometimes tractor development can be quite slow. It's a very big project. You have to make sure everything works. We don't want wheels falling off tractors when they're driving down the road, so there's a lot of safety things in there, and that means innovation can be quite slow. So to speed up innovation, AGCO started Smart Ag, and our job is they give us a big pot of money each year, and they say you have total freedom, go and create something new. So we don't work inside normal engineering. Doesn't mean engineering is bad for you engineers out there. It just means we're doing things a bit differently. And we try and find new customer pains, and we focus really hard on what the customer is struggling with, right? So Henry Ford famously once said that if I'd asked customers what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. Henry Ford asked the wrong question. If Henry Ford had asked customers what is your end goal or what is your problem, they would have said it takes me too long on my current horse to go from point A to point B. And Henry Ford would have understood that his car would solve that problem, right? But he didn't. He took all the risk to himself and went in a dark room and created a car, which worked and it was fantastic. But the problem was he had all that risk. So he took a lot of time to build something, a lot of investment building something, which he didn't actually know it would sell until he opened the doors and showed it to people. So we try and do the opposite. We try and listen to customers. So my team we have like 10, 15 people in my team. Last year we went to 500 farmers around the world. So that's US, Brazil, most of Europe we've been to, all over the world, and we try and listen to customers and ask them, how does your business work? What are the things which are important to you? I have an agronomist in my team, so we get to understand a lot of what is actually happening in the soil and in the plant. And then people like myself and my team who have the tractor driving experience, but we really try and listen to the customer, understand their pain, and then I have some fantastic engineers in my team who can then say, okay, here's the problem and here's some ways we can fix it. And then we try and look at, is there business in that? Is there business for the customer? Or is there business also for AGCO? Because obviously some people don't want to admit this, but we're a business, we need to make money too. Right? So we look at all those things, and then once we have some idea whether we can do it or not, we make a prototype, take it back to customers, see if they like it, and if they do, then we start to build that, and we build that as quickly as we can. And then instead of putting it into a brand new tractor, we put it all in a cardboard box and we sell it to farmers in a cardboard box so they can fit it onto all the machinery.
So what job roles, responsibilities are covered by yours?
It's almost quicker to say what we don't have. So like I said, we have an agronomist in my team. We have me, who's a team lead, so my job is not to actually... I believe in a type of management where it's more like find people who are really good at what they do and give them freedom and just make sure they have everything they need, and the big picture, everybody's going in the same direction. So that's my role as a team lead. We then have obviously some engineers. So I have some software engineers. I have also somebody very good at software validation. I also have a mechatronics engineer. So mechatronics it's witchcraft. They take mechanical engineering and they also take electronic engineering and software and they marry them together, right? So a mechanical engineer, he can make like a robot arm, but he can't make it move, right? And a software person can make it move, but can't make the arm, right? So mechatronics is where you take two people and you put them into one. And I don't know how all the information fits in their head. but it does. so if you're a mechatronics engineer, call me. And so we have one of them in our team. We have a mechanical engineer, he's very good as well. We have one gentleman who used to work for Valtra for 20 years, who was going to retire, but then called me and said, Sam, your job sounds like a lot of fun, can I come and work for you? So he's an electronics engineer, he's done everything with electronics for like 40 years. So he's probably invented the electricity, to be honest. So he's in the team. I have my own product specialist, so his job is to go around the world. When we have products, his job is to go around the world to shows, exhibitions, train our sales network and make sure the real message about our products is going out to the customer. Who else do I have? I have a customer support person. So we try and make things as good as they can be, but reality is everything breaks at some point in time. It doesn't work perfectly. So you have to have a customer support network. So I have somebody in my team responsible for that. And I also have a communications person, somebody a bit like yourself. So somebody to make sure that what we're putting out there looks good and is the right stuff.
Very nice.
So Uriah, the amazing guy who's done electronics for 40 years, probably invented electricity. He was probably the guy who figured it existed, right? There's a thing in Valtra Careers, there's an article about him in Valtra Careers, so if you want to see a little bit more about him, go do it. He is an amazing guy. Somehow he's close to retirement, but when you talk to him, you feel like you're still talking to a kid. He's managed to keep the spark alive, so go read about him.
What sort of people do you have here? The nationalities, every kind of things?
Oh, okay, yeah. So in my team, we have really a diverse team, and I believe in hiring the best person for the job, right? And AGCO believes in that, right? So it doesn't matter where you're from or what you look like or who you are, right? So I have in my team, I obviously have some Finnish people, men and women. I have a girl from Italy. I have somebody from Nigeria in my team. I'm from England originally. We've got, and like I said, some of us are from farming backgrounds. Some of us have never seen a tractor before they ever came here. You know, so really diverse, and it's so cool because it brings so many different viewpoints.
So it's like you don't have to have like tractor or
no.
farming experience.
Obviously, it helps if you know the big wheels are at the back and the small wheels are at the front. That helps a lot, right? But we can teach you that, so don't worry. But that's the basic knowledge level you need. But if everybody comes into a team and they all have the same experience and all have the same viewpoint in life, you'll never create anything amazing, right? So you need this diversity of opinion, of thought, right? And diversity comes in so many different ways. It's not just how we look or how we talk. It's how we think. It's what jobs we've done in the past. I, for example, I'm a very impulsive person. I do things very fast. I enjoy saying things out loud, and I have people in my team who are very quiet, and it brings so much difference. And I like to say, yeah, just get it done. And other people say, no, it needs to be done slowly, and that's real diversity. Because the ones who say let's do it slowly, they make sure we have quality, and me who says let's do it fast. Surprise, surprise, I'm the team lead. I'm there making sure we go forward. So between us, we find a balance. But if everybody was like me, our quality would probably be rubbish. Yeah. But if everybody was like some of my engineers, then we'd never get anything done. So you have to have that diversity.
How could you describe AGCO as an employer?
How do I describe AGCO as an employer? What a question.
Big question.
Big question, and it's also an interesting question because I'm a manager, right? So I'm a manager, so I probably answer through like me as how I would like to imagine my team, what my team members would say about me, right? And so much of how you experience a company is directly affected by your manager, right? So there's two layers to this answer, right? So I think for me and being in Smart Ag, it's freedom. It really is freedom. On purpose, we've been given freedom to play and try because out of that you find new things. Okay, so I find that obviously in a corporation you can't have chaos, so there are always rules, but the rules aren't there to stop you having fun, they're to make sure that things are safe, right? And people are respected. But a corporation also rewards those people who knows when to break the rules, right? So it seems in many companies that, and I don't know if we can use it, I don't know if we'll be able to say this, I'm just going to say that out loud. Process goes before progress, right? So we have the process, we have to follow the process. You know, we don't dare go outside of that. But in AGCO, it seems that if you've got the bravery and you can justify it why you're going outside that process, then progress goes before process. And it doesn't mean we can go and do whatever. I always tell my team members, and I live by this as well, that You don't have to ask me for permission. Just go look the CEO in the eye. Like, ask yourself when you're doing something, can you look the CEO in the eye and explain why you're doing this? If you can, don't ask me. Because you've got the self-confidence that you know what you're doing.
That's so true.
Right? So, and by empowering everybody in the company to take that responsibility on themselves, AGCO can actually get loads more done. We get loads more done because you don't need so many managers. Because people take that responsibility and aren't afraid because they know the company rewards that. We will all make mistakes. But the main thing is that it's not taking advantage, right? Well, I'm not taking advantage to do something. It's, I've gone through the process in my own head. If this was my own money, if this was my own business, right? If my family's roof over their head depended on this succeeding, would I use this money? Right? If the answer is yes, go ahead and do it, because I trust you as a human being, an adult human being, to be able to make these decisions. So I've noticed with Smart Ag especially, and I think Smart Ag speaks so much to what AGCO wants to be, like as an employer, and wants people to sort of embrace, that freedom, giving people the freedom and the responsibility really allows people to be creative and to do really great stuff, which we'd never otherwise imagine. Freedom means you are free to choose and make your own decisions, but you take that responsibility on yourself. And when a company allows that to happen inside it and coaches that, because it doesn't happen overnight. Some people have never had that experience before. You have to honestly coach people. You have to take people and say, I want to help this person grow. And then you give them that freedom, and then you don't, the first time something goes wrong, you don't go charging in saying, let me take over here, right? Because that's what's tempting to do, right? It's always tempting to say, oh, what are you doing? Move out of the way, I'll do it. But you say, no, what did we learn, right? We don't blame people, we say, what do we learn? The only time you can say you did wrong to somebody is if they purposefully, willfully set out to do something wrong, right? Or purposefully left something undone. That's the only time then as an employer you have to say to your employees that, hey, now we're not getting to where we want to be. We're not reaching our standards. Other than that, it's like, hey, we did something, we thought it was going to work. It didn't. What do we learn? How do we avoid doing this in the future? Because then that way people learn to grow and to take responsibility and don't get burned for taking responsibility. So one of the weird things about working for a big corporation like AGCO is that sometimes you work with people, or your boss will be in a totally different world, in a totally different culture. So it brings amazing things, like, for example, I have great freedom because my boss doesn't look over my shoulder every day. We have a call once every 2 weeks, catch up, and he trusts me a lot, which I'm very grateful for. But then at the same time, you have to understand his culture. So I have to put a lot of work in saying, okay, well, my boss said this and it feels a bit weird to me. But then I have to go, hold on a minute, he's in America, the work culture is X, the way they do things over there is this and this and this and this, and what he sees on a daily basis is totally different to me. So it brings a really rich view to your life. You learn so much, but you have to be very patient with people, and you have to also be very humble. I think humility is probably the key thing for anybody in any company, in any job, and in marriage. Because it's what stops you flying off the handle when something doesn't go your way.
Like, how important for you is to have these trainees?
So we have a couple of trainees. We've had, over a couple of years, we've been in existence for a few trainees here as well. It's probably one of my favourite things because you get to take somebody who has never been taught how it's meant to be done, right? The older we get and the more we learn, the more we think there's a way things should be done, right? And there's nothing wrong with that because there's a certain wisdom in it. There's a certain wisdom in saying, yes, we tried that once, it didn't work. But then there's a certain beauty and a certain creativity, and somebody comes in and goes, I don't know, I'm just going to try do it, right? And trainees are often that. They come in, they've got a head full of ideas. Some of them will be rubbish, but that's fine because we've all got rubbish ideas. And then they come in and they go, well, why are we doing it this way? Or I just want to get this done, and there's so much energy. And it brings an energy into the team. Also, so I've said to all my team members, because we're such a multifunctional team, right? There's only one of each of us pretty much, apart from the software engineers, we've got 2 of them, but other than that, there's only one of each of us. So I've said to the whole team, if you want a trainee, you can have a trainee, because it's a lot of work. If my product specialist is only one of him, so if he has to do anything, it's him who does it. There's no other team to back him up. So if he needs a trainee, he can have one. And it's great for so many reasons. We get the chance to give young people coming into the industry an experience. we may find fantastic people for the future for our company. That often happens. In fact, I think Kian, who you'll be interviewing later, I will do my very best to find a place for him in this company because he's been fantastic. And then also, my third point was it helps my team members then also get their first steps in management. Because by taking a trainee into a team and saying to one of my team members, hey, this is now your trainee, right? They're helping you for this whole summer. Then my guys get to say, oh, okay, I have to now be responsible for this person. I have to make sure they have work enough. I have to make sure they know where they're going. I have to make sure they're safe and all this stuff. And it really helps my team grow as well. So we're not only helping trainees get their first experience, but we're also helping my team grow. So that when, hopefully, my aim as a manager is to get all my team promoted out of my team. Hopefully in 5 years, none of my team are here anymore. I'm sat here alone, right? Because I want them to all grow. And the best way for people to grow and learn to become managers is to give them that responsibility, but in a safe environment. So by giving them trainees, I can go, hey, try it. It can't go wrong. I'm here. You know, the company's here. You're not abandoned. But here's a chance for you to try it and see if you like it. Because being a manager also isn't for everybody, right? So being a manager for some people is great. I didn't think I wanted to be a manager until I became a manager, and then I found that I like working with people.
Yes.
But then other people would rather be like a specialist. And you have to start your journey somewhere. So with a trainee, they get to start their journey. Usually we start being specialists. We never very rarely start being a manager, right? And then you get to go up. So the trainee gets to learn a trade. The next person gets a taste of management, right? And it grows up the chain. So having trainees is one of the most important things.
So next, I believe we are going to interview Kian.
Yep.
So thank you, Sam.
More than welcome.
Like Sam mentioned earlier, in the next video I am going to interview one of our trainees, Kian Mongi, from Smart Ag. So let's go to hear how he has felt working for AGCO.